Hello, I'm Mr. Hatch. I teach the 7th grade Art Foundations classes, and I just had a few things I wanted to share with you guys today. So first, I want to share what we've been working on. At the beginning of the semester, we created sketchbooks. We built them ourselves. I'll show you kind of what that looks like in just a minute. We went over the elements of art, and then we are using these elements of art within all of our upcoming projects and assignments that we are working on. Next, we did a Drawing What I See, Not What I Think I See booklet, where we are practicing our observational skills and our hand-eye coordination. And then next, what we are working on right now, we are working on the creative process, the gather, explore, and develop stages of going through that creative process. We talked about how it is kind of an interdisciplinary idea, so it works well in an art kind of context, but it also can be applied to all other aspects of life, learning how to start with ideas and then build them into final artworks or final products. We're learning creative strategies, generating ideas, exploring those ideas, and then developing them into final artworks. And then also along the way, we are learning how to document that creative process. So the sketchbooks, we took some papers, folded them together, bound them together with some thread. So we learned how to do some stitching. Now every day we come in to class, we have some prompts that we sketch out for the first 5 minutes of class. It's really just to get into that creative mood. Sometimes we're not in that creative mood, so it's to kind of help with that. We use them to explore new ways of creating, then also taking notes during any lessons. We have some areas where we take notes in them. So really fun to be able to create our own sketchbooks and then be able to use them the rest of the semester. Our first major project that we did was a Drawing What I See, Not What I Think I See project. So we were working on those observational skills, hand-eye coordination skills. And so what we did was we did some blind contours, so we are only looking at our subject matter, not looking down at our paper that we are drawing on, and that's going to help us improve how we are looking at the subject matters that we are drawing, and then improving that hand-eye coordination, so being able to look at something and then accurately move our hand and our pencil in the way that we want to. So they end up looking kind of funny sometimes, so we talked about how it's not always about the final artwork, sometimes it's more about the process and what we learn along the way. So I just have some examples here of some student work. We were required to do some portraits, so we had some portrait blind contour drawings, which are always fun and interesting. And then after we did those blind contours, we went back and made them more into like final artworks, coloring them, adding more details and things like that. So really just to improve those observational skills and hand-eye coordination for that assignment. Now we are going through the gather, explore, and develop creative process, so we are learning how to generate and gather our ideas. We talked about how to use word maps, how to find inspiration when it comes to art. After we did that, we explored those ideas that we generated and gathered. We talked about creating thumbnail sketches, so trying to get a lot of different ideas out and choosing the most successful idea instead of just our first idea. And then we are starting to experiment with watercolors, so we did some watercolor technique worksheets where we were exploring that medium and experimenting with it, especially for students who hadn't ever used watercolors before. It can be kind of scary, so we were just exploring them. And then we talked about developing those gathered ideas and explorations into a final artwork. So I showed kind of my process that I go through. I showed the students that this is something that I do for my own work, so it makes it a little bit more relevant. And then so we're just getting to this developing stage currently. Lastly, I'd like to talk about grades. So there's only a few major assignments that have been done this semester. So we have the disclosure document from the very beginning. If you need that still, it is on Canvas. You can print it out, or I can give another one to anyone who needs one. We have the Drawing What I See, Not What I Think I See project. If your child is missing that one, they can always come and talk to me about it, and we can get it figured out and worked on. And then we have the documentation for our creative process. So right now we only have a little bit of documentation in the grades, but that is kind of an upcoming one. All right, so February 23rd from 4 to 7 p.m. I'll be available for any questions or scheduling an appointment for some parent-teacher conference virtual appointments. So feel free to email me with any questions or to schedule an appointment. Here's my email.